So let's just jump right into this, get it going. You're in Idol 102, J-pop idols and Japanese culture. Has anyone been to one of these panels before? Or Idol, yes. We do these panels, I think it's already recording. We do these panels, we have several levels of panels. We have an AKB48 one, we have a Hello Project one, we have a general 101 where you just teach the history of idols. This is 102. So the idea here is we're gonna talk about certain themes that you know from idols, and we're gonna compare it and contrast it to Japanese culture, why they're popular, why certain things are the way they are. So it'll be a lot of fun. Let's jump right into this. Meet our first panelist right here, Tiffany. She mentioned she's our translator and artist liaison at A2J Connections. You might also recognize her if you're from NorCal. She's in a lot of groups. Want to mention some of them? You have a lot.
Okay, my main one is Tiami with my partner Ami. And then we have one for Hello Project covers, which is Hello Musume. We have a Vocaloid dance too. It's called WVDO1. And then I do one with my friend Marjorie, and it's trademark. And then we mesh Tiami and trademark together, we get ATM.
You can follow her on everything on Tiffany NN Stream. Pretty much everything, Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
Want to follow her and check her out. And then on my right here, I have Molly, otherwise known as marisuga.
Hello. I am the A2J Connections Chief Advisor and PR Representative.
I don't know, there's a new one.
Yeah, anyways. I am a cosplayer, singer, and an actor. Not necessarily in that order, but my website is marisuga.com. You can find all my links there. And basically my handle on almost every social media is marisuga, or marisuga with 2 eyes.
And I am Manuel. You can find me pretty much on everything at Alavic_222. I am the A2J Connection project leader. Actually, we changed that title recently. And, well, I don't need too much of an introduction. The girls are already, more popular than I am, so we'll just move on. Who are we? Okay, California Idol Fans United, Kaifu. It's a Facebook fan club dedicated to idols, idol fans who are located within California. If you're an idol fan within California, we urge you to join the group because we have some really cool stuff coming up and we want to get it out there. That's our big goal. We want to get news, we want to talk about events and so on. Check us out also, a-2-jconnections.com, and the blog on that site specifically dedicated to idols is the Hello Idol blog. So let's just jump right into this since we started a little late.
Yay.
So here's the first thing. What are idols? Now, because this panel is a little different, I like to include a few scholarly quotes in this. And these came out of, I skipped it, sorry. And we won't necessarily read them, but if you want to follow some of these, you could read them on the board. And we will have the sections that these were selected from at the very end of the panel, if you want to follow it. So yeah, what are idols? How would you define them, Tiffany?
Super cute.
Molly?
An artist that considers themselves an idol is an idol. That's the only qualification.
That's a better definition.
Exactly. Now, as you see, the definitions vary, and as Molly said, an idol that considers itself an idol is an idol, because it's a very loose definition. You can't really define what an idol is. As I said, it's very loose. And before we go any further about idols, because we will talk a lot about idols, let's throw out some terms because I don't want to start saying things that we don't all know. Okay, so let's start with WOTA, or Oda, however you want to pronounce it. Idol otaku. Does anyone know what that is? He knows what that is.
Yeah.
Wait, is that?
It's Marco.
Hi!
We're having a moment.
Nice to actually meet you in person!
So yeah, we have a WOTA is basically an idol fan. That's basically what it is. It's an idol fan. It's a hardcore idol fan. You have anime otaku for everything. It's an idol otaku. And as you might imagine, the word Oda is a shortening for otaku. Now, Oshimen, we don't mention that too much here, but an Oshimen is basically your favorite member. It can be shortened to Oshi, and there you go. Auditions, now, pretty much every idol goes through an audition. There's actually a segment dedicated to that, so we'll talk about that in a second. Graduation, what is graduation, Molly?
It's what you would think. It's when the idol kind of leaves the group. Oftentimes there's a ceremony, not like a ceremony, but there'll be a big concert or some other sort of something to kind of just acknowledge the fact that they're leaving. For the most part, some of them just leave.
Yes. Now,
But yeah.
one of the things that separates this panel from our 101 one is that we talk about some stuff that we don't like to talk about in the intro panel because it's kind of a bit more like you don't want to introduce them to bad stuff right away. So we talk about scandals. Now, we will go into this more in depth, but Tiffany, what is a scandal technically to an idol, basically?
Well, when they like mess up, they shouldn't have done that. Uh-oh, your career's over.
Yes.
Basically, when they date people.
That's the big thing.
That's
We're gonna
usually
talk-
what it
yeah.
is.
And
Not
we're-
always. I just said not always, but usually.
Yeah, exactly. Usually. It's a big thing. And a talent is Sorrento, it's basically, we'll talk about this a bit more too later, but basically it's basically somebody who's famous for being famous. A lot of idols kind of aspire to this ideal. It's like when they graduate, they will become basically a famous person just on their prior fame. You know, like,
They do everything. They act, sing,
exactly.
dance, model.
That's the idea. They're in various fields at the same time. Now, since we're not really going to cover the history of idols in this panel, we are going to show you a clip of, those come out separately? We're going to show you a clip of some idol songs throughout the ages.
Yay.
Oh, sorry. Now we could have kept going there, but let's face it. Pretty much a lot of idols today are AKB48. I have some nice AKB48 fans in the front right here. We were at an AKB48 panel yesterday.
I missed it.
You missed it. We have an awesome AKB48 panel. If you want, we have some CDs they're giving away. You can take one of these right here.
Really?
Yes.
It's the newest
It's the
CD.
newest CD. You can have one of those. Unfortunately, I didn't bring too many. We gave a lot of them. You're welcome. We gave a lot of them away at the panel. I have one more maybe if someone wants to be nice and.
We'll
We'll do something later. Yeah, don't worry. We'll do something later.
Let's do a contest. Fight.
But yeah, she seemed really into it, and it really surprised me. And I'm like, FYI, we do these idol panels at every convention. We do every convention in SoCal, definitely. We do a lot of NorCal ones. If you ever come to them, we always have things to give away. Unfortunately, I was really overeager at yesterday's AKB48 panel, and I gave away a lot. But we always have stuff. So please come to them at all conventions. We change them up every time. Just a little plug. We change them up every time.
And if you're not an AKB fan, come because
yes.
we talk about them
So yes,
teach you about them.
we have lots of
And
them.
you
If you
should
ever
be.
see IDOL, IDOL in all caps and some numbers next to it, it's going to be some variation of us.
Yay.
So anyways, moving on, why idols are important. Now, this question gets asked a lot. Basically, what idols do in Japan, and Tiffany, we can talk about this a bit more, we're going to discuss this a bit. The main goal is to be role models. To be role models for young girls. Now, of course, they have fans who are male, fans who are older male, fans who are older female, fans from all walks of life. Some people just like the music, but ideally, what they do is they are supposed to be ideal, like basically the idealness of a young Japanese woman, basically. And that ideal can stretch to other things. They can market music, they can market goods, they can market whatever, but that's the goal. They're the ideal, the pure innocent, and that's why things like scandals are bad. Tiffany, care to add to that?
About the scandals part, or?
No, about the ideal of idols.
Yeah, so you're just they're very pressured to be a certain way because they're basically like the models in the US. Well, they have models in Japan too, but their idols are like model for everything, not just model for how you look, but how you act and how girly you are. And
The closest thing I would say that we have in America are Disney Channel stars.
Exactly.
Yes, like
Where if they do anything that's like not considered okay for children to do or like young teenagers to do, it's a big deal and they're supposed to be role models for everything. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar.
Yes.
So yes, and because of that, because they're basically, role models, ideals, like I said, they go to everything. They're in every field all the time. So that segues into our next topic, where we're gonna find idols. Now, originally when we discussed this panel, and you still see in the description, we were gonna follow the imaginary idol X. Unfortunately, that
Well,
thing
Imaginary Idol X is me. That's
is basically
who it is now.
Molly.
Yay!
So I'm gonna reenact things. It'll be great.
Basically, yes, we will do this. Basically, where do we find idols? You find them everywhere. Namely, you find them, a young girl can find them on TV, can watch an anime about idols, and aspire to be an idol. They can watch an idol performance on TV, be it on a variety show, be it on a music show, and aspire to be idols. And moving on to this, I mentioned TV programs, variety show, maid cafes, they are everywhere. Now there's big differences though in the scale of where they perform. Tiffany, how would you compare a maid cafe idol, or an indie idol even performing maybe at a very small venue to a major idol concert? You've been to several.
So like a major one is what you would imagine, where you have like a big stage and it's filled with audience and everyone's there just for them and they're like, woo! And then for indie idols, they actually don't have many solo things. It's in like small clubs, everyone's standing. Usually they don't have a full audience, it's just, they're really hardcore, like 5 fans. And then they have group events and they all like find out about each other and it's very small and you become friends. It's like, oh hey, you were there yesterday too and let's be friends and we're best friends forever about idols. That's a small place.
It's very odd, and there's because of like groups like AKB48 and prior to them Morning Musume, the idol boom has definitely jumped off again. And by the way, I kind of skipped right through it, but to show you, to go back a little, as you saw in that clip that we showed earlier, idol music has really progressed over the past 30 plus years. Idol music as we know it started in the early 70s. Idol music started in the early 70s, but as we know it, basically as more of a pop sounding, started really in the early 80s with Seiko Matsuda, who you saw right there. You might have noticed the first clip was Momoe Yamaguchi. Her stuff is a bit darker and a bit more almost like, some of her other songs sound very Enka elements. And, but yes, idol music encompasses a lot of various genres. Now, a lot of people find idols through variety shows. Be they in Japan, be that they are in Japan, or they in the US. Does anyone know where these are from?
I do.
Exactly. Well, the right one's an AK Bingo. Anyone seen that clip?
Yes.
That clip is on with
It's a cockroach or cicada.
It's a cicada.
And they were blowing it at each other to try to see who would have to eat it.
Ew.
In a better world, I would have that clip for you, but as a matter of fact, I did have the clip, and I decided...
It went viral for a while.
Yeah, it went really viral.
so
I decided
gross.
not to show it because even I was so grossed out by it, because basically they're blowing it back and forth.
That's already gross enough.
Yeah,
Blowing
and
anything
then
back and forth.
one of them basically paused for a bit too long, and it went into her mouth, and she ate it. And but yeah, variety shows are everywhere. They have very hilarious moments. There's some really awesome stuff to see there. Is anyone familiar, like really old school internet, like memes, the dramatic chipmunk, like that.
That's actually from.
That was from Hello Morning. That was from a Morning Musume, Hello Project variety show. There are lots of clips like that, everywhere. They're really hilarious. If you go online, they're everywhere. You go to YouTube, there's subtitled ones if you don't know Japanese. If you go to sites like Hello Online, they're everywhere. So check them out, do that. It's a really good way to get you into idols, especially if maybe all you know is the music. That's where you get a lot of the personalities. And anything to add about your variety show experiences? No? You do? Go ahead.
So like usually idols go on, if they have a show dedicated for idols, they can do whatever they want, but the main goal for most idols is to go on like very big variety shows where they do it at like 7 o'clock in the night, and they have to stand out. They can't just be cute and nice, because you don't get airtime like that. You gotta do stupid things, you gotta act out, you gotta say mean things. So usually you'll find them and be like, this girl's weird, but then you'll be like, I'm kind of interested though, like what does she usually do? And then you're like, whoa, it's totally different. And that's why they're all over doing their weird things to stick out. Yeah.
There's so many to watch. By the way, we talked about the AKB one, but like I love that picture on the left. That's from members of Morning Musume.
There's called Nakai Masahiro's Black Variety, and it's like a late night show where they do dumb things all the time, and they make people do like quizzes and stuff. And yeah, Morning Musume people apparently don't know how to spell English.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? 8, 9, 10, teen, and teen for 1,000, in case you can't catch that in the back. But yeah, it's awesome. So another place you can really find idols, which you mentioned earlier, is in anime. Now,
there's idols in anime?
yeah, there's idols in anime. Really? I didn't know that. But no, they've existed in anime since the very beginning. As you see there, I think the first one was Love Live. I kind of skipped through that.
That is not Love Live.
No, the first one, the one I skipped through. And then right here we have Idol Master. Woo! Yes. Now we can honestly, and that actually was something we're talking about, we could dedicate an entire panel just to idols in anime. And it's coming to a convention near you, so keep an eye out for that. We are planning this. Idol Master, Love Live, I'm gonna list them more again, but I'm gonna list them right now anyway because I'm doing it. Anyone know Macross? Macross, like we all know that was basically the one that really launched it. Idols, we have Macross 7 that has, Firebomber, thank you. It slipped my mind right there. But they still had Miley Genius in that one, and Ronka Lee, Cheryl Nome, and of course, the very first one that started them all, Lin Min Mei. Very famous, very popular, and want to add, because I think idols in anime, well, especially Idol Master is your specialty.
Yes, they have so many things now, not just anime, but like they make games out of the animes. I'm pretty sure some of you people have played either Love Live or Cinderella Girls on your phone, and everyone's like, even people that don't care about anime now play it. And I work at a milk tea place, and I hear that iconic hitting sound of the notes, and I'm like, someone's playing Love Live here. They're my enemy.
No, and like not just, another interesting note about these idol animes is that a lot of them kind of start, how do I say this? They start spreading out into other fields. Like Lin Min Mei is voiced by Marisuga, and we all know that she's a performer in her own right. And Cheryl Nome is voiced by Maine.
Her voice is not by Maine.
Her singing voice, I'm sorry. Her singing voice is by Maine, who's a singer in her own right. And of course, we all know Love Live, who are sung by. We don't know who.
They're called Muse.
Yeah.
But I don't know their exact names. There's so many.
No, I thought
they're like an idol group in real life too now. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They spread into like
started as an anime of just the voice actors, and then it just kind of like, oh no, you're idols now, girls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just what happens. It's like it's kind of a jumping off point. Like Marisuga I love Marisuga, so I don't want to say this, but she was a rather obscure artist before Macross came along. She only released 2 singles. They were both indie. She releases Macross. Ayo But the Mascot, it like becomes a huge hit. And that was actually from the movie, and then there you go. Now, in case you didn't know, there's another big idol anime.
AKB48!
That's in case you want to see one that has idols and giant robots.
Yeah, it's like Gundam meets idols. Well, maybe not Gundam.
But
But
we mentioned that there's some that are centered around idols, with Idol Master, Love Light, AKB0048. There are tons of others, but there are several that aren't quite totally idol-centric. There's Macross I mentioned, of course, that it's a key element, but the focus of that is giant robots fighting each other. Key the Metal Idols. Anyone ever seen Key the Metal Idol? Yes, I really want to talk about this when we do our idol anime panel. It's a very interesting one. Basically, there's a robot. She wants to become human. I forget the exact plot. It's in there a long time ago. Basically, one of the ways the only way she can like live on in her life is if she gets so many thousands of people to love her. And she watches an idol on TV, and it becomes like that's her goal. She wants to mimic this idol and get people to love her. It's a very interesting plot. Really watch it. It's a really good one. There's tons of others. Kumimami, even Tenshi Muyo has the idol elements.
Kirarin Revolution.
I can't believe I forgot Kirarin Revolution.
That's like
I
little
love
girls
Kirarin
and
Revolution.
Little girls now love idols because they're like, oh my god, Kirari's so cute.
Yeah, we don't talk about it in this panel too much about our Oshis, but my Kami Oshi of all time, by the way, Kami Oshi is what you call your Oshi above the other Oshis of all time, is Kusumi Haru, who voices Kirarin. I can't believe I didn't include that in here.
You say it every time. Every time he's like, I'm going to add Kirarin Revolution.
I really do. I say this every time, and like, Molly, you really have to remind me.
You're not a true fan.
No, and like, I like how I'm up here and I realize that would be perfect anime, because that anime literally starts with a girl who basically stumbles into the audition and becomes an idol, becomes a really popular idol.
Because
and it
before
follows,
that, she only cared about food.
yes,
Yeah.
I really wish if you want to see the story of Idol X, watch that anime, because she has the rival, she has everything's in there. She joins the group,
The scandals.
it's all in there. But unfortunately, that's all we're going to talk about for idols and anime. Idols as marketing tools. This is huge. This is basically, honestly, this is kind of one of the big goals of like idols, is to become sponsors of various products. Everyone knows in this day and age, not too many people really buy CDs unless your name is AKB48, or unless you unless you have some crazy incentives for buying CDs. Nobody really buys them.
There was an idol group who they had, if you bought a certain number of CDs, they would actually go on a date with you.
Yes, that was.
I don't remember who it was, but that was a thing.
That's how sad it is right now about CDs.
It really is.
It was like if you bought like 1,000 CDs or something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit
ridiculous.
We talk about that a bit more later, but it's a bit of a controversial topic because a lot of them are like, are they really selling CDs, or are they just selling the product that goes with it? But I'm of the mind that screw it, they're selling CDs, doesn't really matter. And by the way, that's also why we have so many lovely CDs to give you away from AKB48, is because some of our good friends at the AKB SoCal fan club donate literally boxes of CDs to us that they get.
All major idol groups have those people that buy a ton of them.
Yes.
And then they just, at Hello Project concerts in Japan, they literally have a box, kind of like, when there's that little thing where they says like, oh, here's cats, please come pick up cats and have them or something.
Yeah.
It's like that with a ton of CDs.
No,
It's like
have
free,
some CDs.
free kittens.
Free CDs.
We'll talk about, we have this
Adult
section
CDs.
later, but I'm going to mention this now anyway. Remember we were at the concert in Mexico, and some Japanese Woda, we went to see Cute. By the way, these towels are from the Cute concert in Mexico. They're just for their short towels, but they're not exclusive, but still. We went to go see Cute in Mexico. One of Tiffany's friends brought a bunch of CDs.
He did.
And they were in a bag. She wasn't there for this. He put the bag down and opened it. As soon as the Mexican fans saw this pile of CDs, they rushed that bag.
Yes.
And it was the craziest thing. I filmed it, and I should probably include that later. It was a scary, and a friend of mine was with me, I want a CD, and he was gonna go grab one, but they just mobbed it, and they grabbed stacks, and they were just running with them as if somebody was gonna steal them from them. It was the craziest thing to see.
Yeah, but it's like an overseas thing that people really want CDs because it's hard to get. It's so expensive to buy here.
is.
But in Japan, it's all over the place. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just buy 10 for the sake of having 10. And
Yeah, and then I didn't bring too many this time because we're from NorCal. We're from Los Angeles, so we had to travel down here, and I had limited luggage space.
I'm from NorCal though.
Yeah, she's from NorCal, but I have tons of CDs that I get that means too, and I give them away at panels because people give me stuff to do that with, and do with them, and yeah. But besides CDs, idols market everything.
Is that the commercial where like she eats it and becomes a magical girl?
Yes.
Yes. They have all of
A ramen magical
A
girl.
ramen magical girl. I love that. I love that clip because it just looks like it's just iconic. It's like they do everything. They promote video games. We'll have a clip in a second. Yeah, we have a clip in a second. They promote video games, mobile games. It doesn't not necessarily the idol ones. They'll promote their own things. Mobile games are big in Japan right now. They're big everywhere, but they're really big in Japan. A lot of controversy surrounds a lot of these big name franchises going to cell phones, but it's the wave of the future, so accept it. They do food and candy. Everyone goes to the Madokai, the Mitsuwa, wherever you go to get your, Nijiya to get your Japanese candy, and you'll see little idol girls down there, either in anime form or every so often. I believe Momiro Clover was on like a package of cookies or something, and I think they're doing the AKB48 chicken nugget thing at McDonald's.
It's
48
specifically
nuggets.
teammate, but
Yes, they're everywhere. They promo retail outlets. They sponsor stores. Makeup's huge.
And male idols do that too. I don't know if
Yes.
it's still this way, but last time I went to Japan, Arashi was everywhere.
Yes.
Arashi's always
Arashi's always everywhere.
Everywhere. Like you could not go 5 feet.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a picture of them somewhere.
Like
They do everything that's on this list. They basically do, like currently.
Yes. There's also all sorts of weird items they have. It's everything. It literally is everything. And are you familiar with this, Molly?
Ai Miyaguchi, yeah.
Oh yes.
Want to explain what she was?
So Ai Miyaguchi was a new idol, and she was heralded as this like the best idol ever. Like she's the new ace of AKB. Turns out she wasn't real. She was a CGI compilation of a bunch of the other girls, the really popular members of AKB, and they took like.
It took Tomomi Itano's nose, Tomochin's nose.
It's like Tomomi Itano's nose. I think it's Maeda Atsuko's eyes.
Yeah.
Mayu's eyebrows.
I know I use
There's
eyebrows.
like people's hair and stuff.
Different people's hair. I think it's Yuko's hair. No, it's Yuko's face. I don't remember.
Oh.
But
yeah,
anyways, and she was voiced by one of the Kenkyusei at the time, I believe.
Yeah, she was
And-
making you say. What you doing?
And everyone was super surprised when they're like, "Oh, JK!" Like she was on a single, and they're like, "JK, she's not real."
She's not real. That kind of like symbolizes a lot of like, the idol culture. Are they really real people, or are these just images that,
Yes.
that are portrayed? And the simple answer to that is pretty much yes. a lot of them definitely have stage personas that aren't necessarily how they are off stage. Let's face it, this is basically a job to them. This is their career. Their career is to be like, the ideal. And sometimes that ideal is not real.
Unless you're Paru.
Paru.
But we're not talking about her. But anyways, it's a girl that's an AKB, and she's known for being very salty, which in the idol world, and I guess in the world in general, just means they're not very warm. Like you go to meet them and handshake. She's just kind of just like.
Real? I believe Momochi's always like
Anyone
that.
familiar with Momoko Suganaga from, she was formerly Barry's Kobo, now she's in Country Girls?
Anyone? Yeah. She,
Yeah.
These.
Yes.
If you've ever seen any idol she's like iconic for her video where she gets dragged in like powder or flour or something.
Yes.
Like she gets kicked into it and she gets dragged and you're like, that's horrible.
Yeah, I originally included that video. No, and he kicked her. He kicks her. That guy kicks her like constantly. I'm not gonna lie. Like her Momochi persona is very, very, very grating to most people, myself included. I think
She's real. I believe she's real.
She probably is. She's like idol 24/7. That's what a lot of people talk about
There
her.
is a radio thing of her specifically getting like a phone call from a guy telling her that like, he's in love with her.
He's in love with her.
And she played it off
really well. I think
but
we included that in
he's
the
like,
earlier panel.
That guy had some, I don't know, he was like, I think about you all the time. It's crazy. I recommend watching it to see
But she
how
played it
crazy
well.
they
Yeah, we
can
had that
get.
in a different panel
She's
before.
a super pro.
She knows how her game. I wish we'll include her in future panels. Next thing, we're gonna have a small clip of a commercial in case you've never seen any. This is just to show that.
You've never seen a commercial.
No, in case you've never seen like
An idol commercial.
an idol commercial. If you've seen Japanese commercials in general, they're really wacky, wonky,
They're
crazy
fun to watch.
things.
They're like, if you watch Super Bowl commercials, it's like that all the time.
But
Exactly.
everything's pastel colors and super cute. And then every once in a while, there'll be some like broth commercial that's really like American commercial, and it's weird.
It would have made sense to show the Ai Miyaguchi one. It would have made sense to show a lot of other things, but I'm a huge Mono Arena fan, and I love this game. Anyone play Final Fantasy Record Keeper? Like, I love Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's an awesome game. I love it. So this is a clip, a Japanese commercial for that game.
ゲームにはちょっとうるさい。そんな私も続行夢中。最近毎日ファイナルファンタジーレコードキーパー。アプリを開けばドキドキしちゃうバトルの連続。出たなボス。弱点なんてお見通し。ファイヤーファイラーファイヤー。いてて。ダメージ大きい。急ぎ回復。バッチリ復活。このボスなんだかパパっぽい。ちょっとごめんね。魔法一発お見舞いしちゃうね。ドッカーン。これって足音と思ったらまだなの。しぶとい。反撃きたきた。どうする決めた。逆転の必殺技。強切りおにぎり爆裂剣。勝ったー。よそ見禁止のアクティブタイムバトル。ファイナルファンタジーレコードキーパー。
I love when she gets slapped with the tentacle. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. It's like, wait, no. Before I wasn't include a commercial there. For the whole like the little thing we have with her, the this. I'm gonna show you that. For that section was going to be a still of her getting slapped with a tentacle, and I was talking to a friend of mine. It's like you don't want to put that as the still for that slide. But anyways. Moving on to the idol process entirely. Auditions are huge. We probably move a little faster because I didn't realize we were speaking so long on the beginner topics. Now, do you want to speak about the audition process, Molly?
Well, basically the audition. There's multiple rounds of auditions. I believe the first one, for a lot of, I don't know exactly how all of them go, but I know actually our friend Heidi has auditioned and gotten into a few idol groups. But she actually auditioned for Hello Project, and she got through the first round. It was
It's all paper.
It's all paper. It's just they send you your picture. You send in a photo, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you're cute enough. Okay, we'll have you come in." And then there's a singing audition, and then dancing. Then
the process is very similar across many idol groups. Basically, that's what it is, and it's key to note that talent isn't necessarily. Shouldn't say this like talent, like skill in singing or dancing isn't necessarily important. A lot of it is like personality
and potential.
Potential, exactly. Because what you really want to see in an idol is them come from basically an everyday average girl into a performer. That's half the fun. Don't you agree, Tiffany? I think we had a discussion about this. It's half the fun just to see the idol like go through her career, start from nothing, to cheer her on. She's not good at singing or dancing, but you still cheer her and she gets better as time goes on. That's basically the process.
Or she is good at singing and dancing and she's just underrated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Marco Rotti? So underrated.
Oh, yes.
So underrated.
And a nice clip right there. A nice picture on the right there is Oto Sakura. Anyone familiar with her from Morning Musume? She's yes. If anyone, I remember following the Smilage. Was it Smilage or Smilage, right? When she first auditioned?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the Smilage auditions and like.
She looks so bland.
Yeah, that's her right there, by the way.
So
I wish I had an after picture of what she looks like now. And she was basically like, they didn't give her much airtime, but she was pretty good. And she was one of the finalists, and she didn't make it. She became an egg. Can't you say they weren't eggs in that time anymore?
Trainee, basically.
Yeah, she became a trainee, and it was like fun to see her grow. And now she's like
the diva.
She's the diva of Morning Musume. Morning Musume 1/6 actually. It's just an interesting thing to watch if you follow idols.
I mean, obviously, a lot of girls start very young, and so it's even just watching them age. Like you look,
it's like you're a mother or father.
Or like watching, like looking at the AKB girls when they first debuted to now. It's like, except for one of them who was already kind of older. Koji Haru is the only one that looks the same. Everyone else looks so ridiculously different. It's like not even, like you can't even tell it's the same person almost.
I love this quote because idol candidates are encouraged to transform themselves from raw, inexperienced, unskilled novices to seasoned and highly skilled actors as they become idolized characters. Now that quote is from Hiroshi Aoki. He's an idol scholar, teaches idology in Harvard. If you go to Harvard, you could actually major in idol studies. It's a subset of sociology. I'm not joking, go to Harvard. I met him at a symposium in UCLA a few years back. He's awesome, has an amazing book, check it out. But he basically paints the idol as a character that these girls are acting towards. We mentioned that Momochi is probably 24/7 idol, but you know, it's a really good thing to think about.
I think Mayu probably is too.
But training, this is important. This is important because this is where the idols come from. Training periods vary. Some idols never ever get out of the training period, which is really sad.
It can take years.
Yes, it can take years.
It can take weeks though. Some people they just like immediately they just.
Yeah, because some people they train for a few weeks, they're in, like they're announced they're already going to join a group. Some of them, like I said, they always stay trainees, and that's really sad. There are sometimes the idols grow old and the trainee spots and then they graduate from there. Sometimes they debut in other groups. Sometimes they debut together. Things happen, you know. But a lot of times you see them in, not so much in the variety shows and the other shows you would see like popular idols in, but you would see them in the idol-specific variety shows, the idol-specific concerts, and that's where you'd kind of like pick your favorite and follow them. Like I said, sometimes fan followings form for these idols, sometimes.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Hama. He did not want to get up.
But yes, so trainee members. We see some trainees right there, some Kenkyusei from Hello Project, I believe, and debut. This was, like I said, this was supposed to be our Idol X clip right here, but I mentioned before that they can debut in very many different ways. Solo, in a group, as in a group of other trainees, or they join an existing group. Now, it varies, and not all of them debut. Now here's the fun part we're going to talk about.
The
Idol fandom. By the way, we're going to talk about a bit more, but do you realize what that guy's laying on top of? Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos. Those are all photos. And I believe they're all of one person. I can't see them all. I forget who that is. We don't have quite too much time for this slide. There's some good quotes. By the way, this is a quick plug, so I'm gonna forget to say this later. We're gonna, if you ever wanna see all these panels, they're all up on our website, adajconnections.com. Check it out. All the panels will be there eventually. I'm a little backed up, but all of them will be there in JPEG format in case you wanna look at other stuff later. And I mean all of our panels from various other cons and other topics. We also do VK. And I like to show this clip because it shows the Idol fandom.
Champagne would not come out of it.
ねえ、一緒に飲まない？知ってるだろ？僕、山ちゃん。テレビに出てる。芸能人だよ。
ちょっと触んないでよ。あんたと飲む気なんてゼロよ。
ゼロって。
You can watch this celery man go into the Idol fandom. Morning Musume with a comedy group, so you can tell the members who aren't actually Morning Musume.
手をしたのは出てる方が気持ち悪いな山ちゃんに手を出すなどこれ山ちゃんに手を出すなどこれ山ちゃんドアを立ち任せ先行ってお言葉に捕まえますおりません見たくないぞ
So his friends made the ultimate sacrifice for him to make it to the Idol concert. So yeah, that basically shows you like the transition from a fan, an everyday person to an Idol fan. Anyone ever seen that before? I love showing that clip because nobody, like when I showed it at the previous panel before at a separate, it was another culture panel, and nobody had seen that clip before. We used to do a whole panel centered around that clip, and we would take it apart and do other stuff. But anyways, those are some quotes. You can check them out on the website later. This is a huge part of Idol subculture. Orage. Now, does everyone know what that is? We saw examples of it in that video, and we see some of it going on the stage from over here. Basically, when you get some of these, and you move in coordinated movements. You see it going on in that picture, some awesome stuff. Now, fan events. This is huge. 2 shots. Do you know who those members are, actually?
Huh?
2-shot events. Those when you take a picture with your idol, your favorite idol. One of them is...
No.
Okay, well anyways, we were gonna simulate one here, but I don't think we have time. But if anyone's done after this, we are gonna move to the autograph section in the exhibit hall. If you want to get some checkies with some of our Idol performers from this convention, we will be there doing photos over there, so we will simulate it over there. Basically, that's when you get a picture with your favorite idol. Does anyone know what handshake events are? It's in the title. You shake their hands. These 2 events, especially handshake events, are key to the Idol marketing machine. Very key. Especially if your name is AKB48. A lot, or any other idol, but a lot of times you buy a CD, you get a ticket. That ticket gets you a few seconds with your favorite idols, each one if it's a group, maybe a little longer if it's a soloist. I say this every panel, I personally don't like handshake events because you see in that picture, if you look closely, that's Morning Musume, by the way, people are shaking hands, fans on the other side of the table, idols on the other. You see that person on the floor with the hands on the people? We talked about this yesterday, I forget the term already, but that's like the pusher. That's the person who always has a hand on you and is making sure you don't take more than a few seconds. If you take more than a few seconds, at best, you'll be pushed along. You can sometimes be pushed a lot more roughly, and they will maybe skip an idol or just pull you out of the line entirely. It's a very awkward situation. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I do not like doing handshake events because of that. But people love them. Tiffany loves them. I'm sure Molly loves them. I'm sure everyone else in the crowd loves them. It's just my personal opinion.
I just want to touch idols.
Exactly. But I see the reason why you want to do it, but I personally hate them. People love them. It's key to the idol thing, so no one forget that. Purchasing multiple CDs. As you see right there, that's the before and after of what happens to, not always, but that's before and after what unfortunately happens to a lot of the big piles of CDs you see. In case you can't tell, that's a huge stack of CDs someone purchased, presumably probably for voting tickets for Susenkyo, which is the annual AKB voting thing, and the right is them all in the trash.
So sad.
It is really sad.
There's also photos that come with the CDs. You can also get handshake tickets or 2-shot tickets.
So that brings us to the next point. By the way, I love this picture. You know what that picture is? That's a picture of a bunch of pictures of Kusumi Koharu. Now, you want to know, I actually used to bring my photo collection. That picture is from a group on Facebook called Idol Swap. That is a picture somebody else took, but I bought that lot. That lot is now in my possession at my house. So I am not free of some of these idol tropes that I am discussing. So don't think I'm the anti-fan because I mentioned that I don't like handshake events. I purchased that entire lot. I buy CDs for photos too. As a matter of fact, Jimmy's not here, but Jimmy's a member of our SoCal fan club. I loved his quote. he got a CD and he opened it and he grabbed the picture out. He grabbed the picture. It was actually a photo book. Sorry, it was a photo book. He grabbed the picture out and he put the photo book down. He was examining the picture. They're comparing the pictures. I'm like, what about the photo book? He's like, no, the picture. This is half the fun of buying anything idol related. It's just the picture you get. And they trade them because usually there's like 5 or 6 pictures per thing, and you only get 1 or 2, and it might not be the one you want. So it's huge. Photos are huge. And that's one of the bits of the fandoms that I'll admit that I dive into deeply. Do you have any elements of fandom that you go into deeply in purchasing multiple goods?
I would say t-shirts. They have so
T-shirts.
many t-shirts. Each event, they're like, here's a t-shirt. We made this plain thing that just says the name of the event, and people are still like, I want to buy it.
Exactly. It's oh, we have some in the front. Yeah, I especially love Holo Project t-shirts because they go for like the plain aesthetic.
Cool hello, they call
Yeah, it's
it.
cool hello, but it's literally just the plainest font. It's like black on white. It's like a black shirt with white font. It's like Holo Project in wherever. Holo Project this tour, and it's just plain.
And it's like $30.
Yeah, but we buy them. So
Yeah.
we're just as
We're
guilty as
crazy.
they are.
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit, I buy them too. As you can see, I bought all these towels up front from various groups and various concerts.
At least these have color. They're nice.
And you can't really tell in the back, but all these things are from different groups and events, the glow sticks. They're not all things. We even have a boy band one right
Soli
there.
Demo!
Soli Demo. They're amazing.
If anyone went to Japan Expo.
Yeah, they perform
They
there,
were
and that's
there.
from Japan Expo specifically. They're an amazing group. We have an interview with them on our website too. Nice plug. We have an interview with Cheeky Parade too. So this is key, moving away from the fandom, idol performance. Now, going back to that very first clip, if you were still here at the very beginning, idol music genres vary, big time. But beyond music is the fact that idols' performances vary as well. Concerts are important. We talked about CDs. No one really buys CDs. Especially if you're an indie idol, the way your money comes to you is people going to your concerts and buying your CDs there. Why can they only buy your CDs there? Because for some reason, a lot of indie idols have live-only releases. It's a pain to some people. Tiffany went to Japan recently to go see Kodo, and
I grabbed all of them. I was
Yes.
like, I'm gonna get everything here, and I spent $200 because I'm like, I can't get this in the US, and they were like, you're crazy, but I still got them.
no, and like we like to sponsor some of these panels with idols, and we'll get like CDs from them. For some reason, it's really hard to get it from the indie idols. Like we tell them, like we're gonna give them away, we're gonna promote you, and they don't like to give them. And I was talking to Tiffany about this, and we came to the consensus they like to give them because they're supposed to be exclusive to lives. And apparently that accounts even towards promoting them. And I find that so weird. It's such an odd like thing with Japanese management, but they have live-only releases, and it's strikes me as odd. But anyways, Tiffany mentioned a lot of other stuff. One man lives versus multiple artists. Where we saw Kodo both times in Japan and in Taiwan, it was well, I didn't see her, but A to J saw her. They were both in multi-idol events. You experienced this at Japan Expo, where each idol
Yeah.
was like 20 minutes or a half hour.
And there's a thing in Tokyo called the Idol Matsuri, which is basically just a bunch of idols, both indie and bigger names. They
Or
just
like-
get together, and it's like this 4 days, 2 days? I don't even know how long it is, but it's just like a festival where they all just perform.
In the summer, right? The Tokyo, what
Yeah.
does it call it? There's like a summer one. I don't remember the exact name. There's like this big summer one, and they have like a bunch of stages set up, and they all perform at the same time. Like and
It's
they
like
have,
Coachella for idols.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
That's perfect.
And last point there is lip syncing versus true live performances. You saw earlier Tiffany lip sync. Well, she performed Orzuko no Ko-chan in the other lives, but she lip synced both here. You saw her lip sync Platonic Planet all the lives. Tiffany and I were talking about this. Kodo does not sing that song live because it's very hard.
cannot sing that song.
You saw the dance; it was very intense. You can't sing and do that
It's
at the
like
same time.
10 times more intense than that.
And lots of other idols do it too. A lot of things a lot of popular idols do, like besides lip syncing, is sing over their own track. Like they'll sing over them, like the actual track that has the vocal, and they'll just sing over it, and they'll add another layer to it. It's just the way things go.
It also depends often on the song, though. Obviously, if it's less of a dance-intensive song,
Yeah.
they'll actually sing it. And oftentimes, it's very obvious when they are lip singing.
Yes.
Lip syncing, they are not all very good at it.
No.
But then other times, I know it will be good, and they'll record specific tracks specifically for lip syncing that sound more like it's live to kind of try to hide it, but I feel like it's kind of a common knowledge thing.
And
Most idols lip sync.
one of the reasons I love Hollow Project is that they very, 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 very rarely lip sync, period. It leads to some very interesting performances when they get tired and when they drop a line here and there when their voice cracks. But I love that they pretty much 100% sing live for the most part. So, idol performances and concerts. I mentioned concerts are important already. And this is actually the exact same slide that did not get, sorry. I had different stuff for this slide. I promise you, this was a different slide. I must have an old version uploaded on here. I promise you, this was not the same thing. Anyways, this is where I talked about fan concert behavior. I love going to idol performances, not just to see the idols, because I do this, I see so many. I do this to interview them. I do this to promote them. We're working, by the way, Anasan USA, next month, 2021. We're one of the sponsors. They will have idols there. We come to it if you're in the LA area. Check it out. But anyways, we specifically work to bring idols to the US. We work to promote them. We do all this. So I see things differently. I like to stand back and watch the idols interact with fans. It's crazy. It's crazy. The fans love it. The fans get into it. Just recently, a correspondent of ours went to Taiwan. Did you watch that clip where they rushed the stage?
No.
Did you? I think you watched.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to include that video in the panels in the future. One of our correspondents saw Kodo in Taiwan, and she went to the entire, it was a multi-idol concert. The fan interaction there was like I've never seen in my life at any concert, let alone idol otherwise. They rushed the stage. They jumped on the stage. They crowded her. But they were all into it. The idols were into it. Apparently this is what they do in Taiwan. It was a crazy live. Things to watch. I love seeing this. Orage, dancing, call and response stuff, the POPO start we were doing earlier, that to the 10th degree. There's other parts where they chant into the beat. A lot of things I love about this is the fans usually coordinate it before the concert amongst themselves. Usually there's groups dedicated to this where they this is the part we're gonna do this, maybe outside the venue or even long before that happens. Now, are we ready to do this? Are you ready to do this?
Can I be looking at my phone?
So, this is the part where we have our second idol performance.
Can we do it here or there? Can we just do it here?
Are we gonna just do it here?
We can just do it here. It's
We'll stand up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because we have time issues and because we started late and other stuff, so
Sorry, everyone.
we'll just do it here. This was the highlight of the panel. We're gonna have the Tiffany Molly, duet. Because typically when we do these panels, Molly is my LA person, and Tiffany in the future will be my San Francisco person, and
Now we're both here.
we're both there.
I gotta
so-
collaborate. Sorry, I have to look at my phone, but it's okay.
She's had to learn 20 different songs.
We
in the past
apologize for
week.
that, but in case anyone went to our things, in case anyone knew about Dempop was a duo, and only one of them was able to go, and she had to switch up, and it was nice.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Oh, dude, I didn't mean to start it.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we're doing it. Sorry.
For the one, for the one, for the one, for the one. 赤いガンゾンで焼いた奴らが集まるあの店二人のステージ双子みたいにバッチリまつげは今日も潮風受け止めてるわ二人が踊り出したらほら誰にも負けないわセンベリまたくらい愛が通りの噂私たちのものなの虜にするわ逃さない Come on, come on, come on, my darling 渚に踊る君と私は今も昔も Ready money, hey boy 恋も車も夏は渋滞さ異形の恋はね儚いものなの泣いて笑ったね End of the summer One for the one One for the one One for the one One for the one
How many conventions I've been waiting for that? Now you see, one of the reasons I love A to J Connections, we have so many talented members, you know, who perform within our
And
panels.
literally the first time we ever sang that together was today.
Yeah, like this con, I'm sure everyone has been having a weekend like this. This con has been like just running from one place to the other. But let's wrap up our few last topics. We still have time, but I'm just going to speed through our last few topics. Idols and Gravier. Now, I want to point out that this was something that I used to talk about in the 101 panel, because this is huge in idol culture. Now, I want to point out that Gravier does not typically mean just like bikini shots and like other stuff like that. The two pictures I'm showing right there on the clip are both Fukumoto Mizuki,
Yes, yes, yes.
who
yes.
Tiffany
That
loves.
is my Oshi.
Yes.
We call her the housewife, but not really a housewife, because Japan has this like, ooh, housewives are sexy and scandalous and stuff, and she's like a teenager that looks like a housewife.
Yeah, everyone could probably I'll mention this now, but like that was actually like I was like Shifuku was the password to my computer for the longest time, because like nobody's gonna guess that. Remember, I think you unlocked my computer with that one time, and you're like, what the hell does that password mean? Anyways,
No,
I changed it.
means.
I changed it, so
Anyways, though.
Gravier.
So, Gravier, it's basically just pictures of the idol. It's pictures in the idol that are in like fashion magazines or in photo books. They don't necessarily have to be sexy at all. They can just be like a nice image of her in a field in a nice dress. Like that can be Gravier as well. It does tend to invoke the image of like bikinis or maybe like lingerie. But it's not always that.
as you can see, those two pictures of the same girl on the left, she's like nice and cute, wearing a dress, normal. It's a really cute shot. Then on the right, it's still a very cute shot, but she's now in a bikini.
Yep.
The level of extremeness, I don't know what other word to use, of the bikini shots can vary greatly. That's very low, obviously, but there
It
is.
depends on how popular the member is, what management will think that they want to see, and also how comfortable. But they do take the comfort level of the girls into consideration,
Exactly.
and also age.
There's members of
to an extent,
of
age.
Lady Beard who are very heavy into Gravier.
Yes.
And if you look them up, you will see very different images that we cannot show here. For a lot
That's
of
the
reasons.
extreme side of it.
Exactly.
Right here.
But my point to that,
group?
Lady Beard.
Lady Baby.
Lady Baby, sorry. Lady Beard.
Lady Beard's the guy.
Lady Beard's the guy.
Does Lady
You can
Beard
see
do
pictures.
Gravier?
You can see pictures of him that you don't.
Oh, yeah, that's-
show here.
he has, like,
He's a pro
Extreme.
wrestler, so he's probably.
He does have an extreme Gravier photo.
I meant Lady
too.
Baby, but yeah, he does. But anyways, there are also idols who just do Gravier idols. Check them out. I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for showing this picture. It's still way too soon for this. So guess what? We're not gonna actually talk about it. But she is the poster child for scandals. That was Minegishi Minami. You could see these nice quotes on there later. But why do scandals happen? There are certain rules that idols have to follow. The biggest one, Molly mentioned earlier,
Don't date.
no date. Now, those of you who follow idols know that there was a big story recently, how a court case broke, how
It was against the law for them to tell the girls that they cannot date.
yeah, unless they're doing it to maliciously harm the company, they apparently are allowed to date. This just happened like literally weeks ago, so
Because the court ruled that it was their like
they're right.
the right
to like be happy,
be
basically.
happy, and that was part of being happy.
So it's interesting to watch. Like, I guess that might not be the case anymore. We'll watch how that goes in the next few months, next year. We'll see
Also,
how that goes.
oftentimes, if a member is like supremely popular or something like that, they'll kind of sweep it under the rug and be like, "Oh, that doesn't really happen."
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing happened here.
Let's not forget that Minami Minegishi had a decent comeback, and let's not forget our other like AKB48. Sashihara Reno had like, an amazing
Let's
comeback.
admit that
And then
AKB
Yuki-
girls usually get more popular with these
Exactly,
scandals.
exactly.
Yuki didn't just nothing happened.
Yeah.
No one cared. Just like,
Basically, besides dating, no smoking, drinking, drug use.
Obviously.
drinking is okay if they are above age.
Yes.
It's
Oh yeah,
no
I
underage
should point
drinking.
that out. No underage drinking or smoking.
Yeah.
No negative press. That can come from a lot of things. They say something really stupid they shouldn't have. There have been a lot of other random digressions because they did weird things. There's even been times where plagiarism has been brought up for certain idols.
People running around naked at night got
Yes.
guide idols.
Yes,
That's been a thing. SMAP
Yeah.
always have
That
scandals.
made international news.
Every idol panel we do, we discuss if we're going to include male idols. I want to include male idols in this.
just so we can talk about how SMAP
SMAP ran around
one of the
naked.
members was drunk and he ran around naked in a park and got arrested.
Yeah.
So since we don't want to talk about this, the Minami Minagishi scandal, we can talk about a few other scandals. The Noriko Sakai scandal. She's a very famous idol from the 80s, did a lot of anime stuff with Gunbuster and a ton of other stuff. Now, if you follow idol news, you might know a few years back she had a huge scandal involving drug use. I love the story because basically she ran. The authorities were looking for her. Rather than turn herself in, she left, went up north, hid out for a few months, and then turned herself in. Now the thing is, she turned herself in at a time when they couldn't legally check. Well, they could legally check her, but they couldn't check her for the drugs within her hair or whatever. She had waited till she had couldn't dye her hair so that she couldn't test her hair, and she'd waited so that it left her system. And she basically admitted to it afterwards anyway, but she did that in order to stay out of jail, basically. Very controversial thing. This just happened. And let's not forget the other scandal that happened. Anyone familiar with the Mari Iguchi scandal?
Oh God, no.
No, but this is an interesting infographic.
Yes.
Can I explain? Can I explain?
She can explain it.
Okay, so Yaguchi Mari was the poster child. She was the face of Morning Musume at one point. People had her posters in her wall, and they'd be like, "This is my ideal girlfriend," and she's a small, cute girl. And everyone's like, "I love her," and she was so popular. She graduated the group and everything. She didn't graduate, did she?
She left the scandal.
Yeah, she left with a scandal as well. But everything was good. She was on TV again. She was everywhere at one point. And then she got married to this super hot guy. He's a very famous actor. If anyone knows Oran, Host Club, he did Mori Senpai. And so he's hot. He's tall and he's hot. And everyone's like, wow, it's the perfect couple. And one day there's news is that she was cheating. And it wasn't even they found them holding hands or something. He came back home early one day and she didn't think he was going to come back home. And she was just naked, with this other guy in their bed. And they're like, oh my God. And it became news and she got cut out of all these shows. And she's kind of back right now, but everyone's still she's a cheater.
If you look it up, either on YouTube or on Google, you will find many more funny infographics than this. My favorite one, I'll show it in a later panel, is that they walk in, it's all CG models, and they show the actor running away in tears. they CG tears and he runs out. But yeah, you should look it up. So we'll speed through the last few topics. We'll talk about idols as activists. Environmental themes are huge in idol stuff. It's huge in everything because Japan has a very environmental friendly country for a lot of reasons.
Recycling there is intense.
It is. There's a lot of green movement, stuff like that. Idols do it. There's a specific color project groups themed to it. Other groups just do songs here and there. There's the occasional pro-environment song, but everyone knows the anti-bullying themes and songs. This is very prevalent. Now, we used to talk about a lot, we don't have the time to talk about the differences in bullying, but it's a huge problem in Japan. Huge,
suicide is common in Japan because of bullying.
We're working on an 18 plus, it's not so much 18 plus because it's we're gonna show nudity or stuff like that, but we're working on an 18 plus idol panel that's gonna show darker things. That clip is from a recent video. It's I Kill by Deep Girl. Deep Girl's I Kill. If you watch that video, it's a very extreme video. Very extreme, very dark. I cannot show it here for a lot of reasons, but that clip is from it. It's not necessarily an anti-bullying song, but there are things in it that talk about it. AKB48, of course, has, we were gonna show a clip, I don't think we'll show it because of the time. Baby Metal, of course, has, I can't remember the name, Ijime Dame.
Or something like that.
Actually, we might have enough time to show it because we're actually almost the last slide. now we'll cut it off there. But before we move on, like one thing I have to point out about the different, we kind of skipped through that slide. The differences in bullying in Japan versus the U.S. A lot of times in Japan, because it's a very group-centric country, the bullying is like group-centric as well. It's like usually, as you saw in that clip, it's usually like the whole class against the one girl, and like it's a cultural thing that I don't quite understand. I read many papers on it. There was a couple quotes from them earlier in that slide. It's a very, very, very big problem in Japan. So a lot of groups do it. That video actually came with like a PSA before it, that's at the very opening, that talked about the bullying problem. And very common in idol music because it's a very big thing in Japan that they're trying to, work on.
But moving into graduation, most of the girls in that group
are no longer
in
there.
AKB. Or they've announced their graduation. That's why if you saw me going like this, that was for all the members that were graduated or announced their graduation, which is all of them.
Graduation. It happens to every idol. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, sometimes the idol is done. The idol just wants to move on in their career, or move on with their life. It can sometimes be the management, like, oh, you know what, we're gonna go in a different direction with you, or the different direction with the group, and we don't need you anymore. A lot of times there are scandals, and it's like they rush a graduation.
Or they'll rush a graduation of another member to cover up a scandal of another member.
Yep.
They usually, Molly mentioned earlier, they usually do have special shows, events, outfits, whatever. Now,
sometimes a song will be written specifically for the girl. Like she'll get a graduation solo song.
They have like their tearful goodbye moments. I picked that clip from the Kusumi Kaharu, once again, my Oshi, Kusumi Kaharu graduation, because like I love that. Like, why would you say that? I'm sorry I had to trouble you about fixing my fax machine. But that was just, Anyways, funny thing, and graduations are pretty much always permanent. Sometimes they graduate within the management and they'll still stay within management, or they graduate to an older group or whatever, but usually they're done with idols. Momochi is a nice exception, who just went from idol to other idol.
Well, but they're on hiatus. They are not graduated.
They pretty much are gone. They're never coming back.
Don't say that.
That's like,
what
was the other group? Like VK group? No,
oh, yeah. But anyways, post-graduation careers, they could turn into non-idol singers. Let's not forget that Tanaka Reina from Morning Musume has Love and Door, which is idol-themed rock.
Band.
They're basically a band. And other stuff like that. A lot of them become hosts right there. I remember Kusumi Kaharu when I'm making the end of the panel. That's Kusumi Kaharu's show from Oha Star. That's Oha Star, right? Yeah, it's Oha Star. And she actually did that while she was an idol, but she kept doing it post. A lot of idols become models, and they leave for that reason.
Also actors. I didn't put that in there.
Yeah, I probably should put it. But a lot of them become students. That's big. A lot of them leave to study abroad.
Or they'll leave just to focus on their studies.
I gotta go to college, so I'm gonna leave.
I'm done. And then others join less reputable fields.
We don't talk about
AV. Let's not forget, if we watched that clip earlier of Aitakata.
If you're over 18, you can look up what AV means.
Look up the members who performed in Aitakata. I won't say which one, but one of them went into adult videos.
Or just look at SDN.
Yes.
It's very sad.
It is very sad. And that's not the only one. A lot of idols do it. Or they go into like other stuff like that. So it's, what can you say? To be honest, it's what you do with any career. There's different options after you're done with it.
You do you, right?
Exactly. Let's not judge them for what they do.
You do you.
Exactly. You do you, we do we, YOLO. Exactly. Who cares? And some of them simply retire. Going back to that first clip, Momo Yamaguchi, the one that we showed, she basically was like one of the proto-idols that like kind of started the idol thing as we know it. When she retired. She was gone. No more public appearances, no more talk shows, no more singing. Well, I think she did a few like benefit things, but her career was done. In 1980 or so, done. So yeah, moving to the final, our conclusion is basically if anyone has any questions.
Any questions?
Any questions
burning questions? Any questions at all?
Any burning questions about us, about idols, anything you learned here?
It can also just be like questions about life.
Yeah.
I give good advice.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Did you guys have to actually go through auditions to get where you are right now?
What do you mean?
For us?
Us?
You guys, yeah.
No.
We call ourselves idols, so we're like, yeah, we're idols, but we're not like under any management. We don't make any money for it.
I am an actor by profession, but I'm not, and I've been doing.
You can catch her in a movie called BC Butcher, by the way. Google it.
Yeah, it's like it's a B horror slasher film.
Yeah.
If anyone knows who Kato Kalin is, Anyone?
She kisses him.
I had to kiss him. I was 21. He was 55. It was great.
Whoa.
And, it wasn't great. It was really awkward. But no, what I was gonna say is it's just a lot of times it's just who you know when you know it. I do all the different contests. Sometimes I do well, sometimes I don't. You know, it's just like.
And then you like sign up. I go on the convention site and then they have like, want to be a panelist? Want to be a performer? And I'm like, yes. And I have to type up a form and then I wait for them to tell me, yeah, you can do a time slot. And then I just go myself. I don't have anyone to promote me or anything.
Technically, this one, I was like I was Dem Pop's acting manager.
Yeah, he's a manager that doesn't even get me water.
I got you water this time. But anyways, question in the back? Last question.
Whenever you go to Japan, where's the most, like, in the Tokyo area, the best place to go to for idolism?
It's Akihabara. What's the other one?
Akihabara is like good for things like AKB and stuff like that. There's certain places, especially for like the AKB franchise, they have places, but if you want to see like indie idols, usually it's in the like that they call it Shibuya-ku, so it's not exactly Shibuya, but it's like that Shibuya region, and they have little local trains that go to all these cities, and that's where they have it. It's very hidden. I got lost a lot of times, but yeah. And then for Hello Project, I would say Nakano in Tokyo is very big. It's like their mecca. So those are like the 3 places you can go.
That's like
for
technically
idols.
the idol center, but Akihabara is kind of taken over. It's just like the nerd.
And if you want last minute tickets, you go to Harajuku because they have a store there. And they have like these tickets laid out. You want these seats for this concert, for these idols? So those are the places.
And also it's hard to get tickets. Most, and I guess indie idols probably not, but for most larger idol groups, it's on a lottery system. So you basically you enter.
Or you have to be in a fan club. It's either one. It's both. I
Sometimes
think.
you have to be in a fan club and then you join a lottery.
Exactly.
And it's like,
It's
okay,
so
you were drawn
frustrating.
first, so you get to choose your seat now. And it's just like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I paid $60 or $70 to enter this fan club, and now I have to wait to see if I can even get a seat into one of the concerts.
I was,
but yeah, the
when I was
struggle.
an exchange student in Japan, we had a girl that like was there with me, got to go to a cartoon concert because someone invited her and I was so jealous.
Okay, so next.
Because that is not easy.
I think we're done with the questions, but
No, we're not.
No.
oh, we have more questions.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
We can ask a few more as we're dismantling. Go ahead.
So, back on the ticketing process in the lottery, for example, AKB, I know there's a lottery to get into their theater, but like for the big dome tours, does that count the same as well, or is it easier to get tickets that way?
It's easier because there's more seats,
Yeah.
but I believe they are
It's
still on a
also-
lottery system.
I think they have usually separate things. They have like a fan club lottery, and then they also have like they call it like the ones for normal people without fan club membership, and that one it's like a regular ticket system like you do in the U.S. or anywhere else, where it's first come first serve. Sites crash.
I know,
and you're
and
just like
for their
why?
10th anniversary concert, you actually had to have been you had to have gotten a ticket from like their first single 10 years ago. So it was like
So
only for the people
it
that
really
were like
differs.
true
And
fans.
then yeah, like dome concerts are big, and so they make you do that. But if it's like an indie one, you just be like, oh, on our Twitter, just reply and say you're going, and I'll reserve you a ticket, and you just go there. So it all differs.
You with the flippers.
Yeah, these were hard on Teens React to J-pop, there was one band that was at the very end that has about 100, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it has like 180.
That was AKB.
That would probably be AKB.
I think
Yeah.
they were showing heavy rotation, weren't they?
Yes, they
It was heavy rotation.
Yes.
Different spots in Tokyo because of how big they are, and I heard that getting ticket that's impossible.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, where it's like you have
It's
to
a
join a
lottery
lottery, and
system.
there's a lot of people that want to go.
Yes.
I mean, it's not impossible. It's just you
Just gotta know some people too.
gotta
know
you gotta
some
have good luck.
Yeah.
Because it's
They would have luck if they brought that over here, if they brought them over here at AX or one of the concerts.
they actually did come to AX back in 2009.
Yes.
That was before they became super popular. It didn't go as well because people didn't know who they were at that time, so it just wasn't as heavily attended as people thought. I mean, they're way too big now, I think, to come over. Like, they're too big physically. There's too many of them.
Yeah.
And also,
Too much money you need to bring
it'd
over.
be a lot of money to.
If word got out that they were having that at AX, saying, oh, the band will play over in California Anime Expo, tickets would sell out within a second.
I'm sure they would, but it's probably not going to
logistics
happen.
thing.
Let's
It's a
go
logistics.
for
It would
last-
cost so much money for them.
Last question. He has his hand up. So
Yes.
Aside from YouTube, where do you go for like the more obscure media?
Nico?
or you mean for idols in general, or
Yeah, just in either
for media? You mean like videos and stuff like that?
videos, music.
Well, if it's like smaller groups, sometimes YouTube is like very impossible to find anything. So Twitter is actually the
Twitter,
best way
definitely.
to search for your idol, and from there they upload it on certain places too. Usually they have something official. They even use like SoundCloud and stuff like that
Oftentimes,
nowadays.
I feel like a lot of them will live cast every day on Nico Duga.
Or
Yeah,
what's
not Nico, but
what's the other one?
Showroom.
Showroom. That's what I'm thinking about. Showroom.
Yeah.
A lot of them do that. I wanted to talk about Call Me earlier, totally missed it, but they do showroom things all the time.
Yeah.
But Twitter, like she mentioned, Twitter is key. Pretty much every idol has a Twitter, or their staff does, or whatever. Some of the indie ones will respond to you and stuff. It's really cool. If you use Line, some of them use Line.
Sometimes they'll follow you back.
No, yeah, exactly. Sometimes, no. A lot of the indie ones follow you back.
They followed Manuel, but not me.
Yeah. Oh, Solo Demo followed me. The members of Solo Demo
yeah.
followed me.
But Twitter is like where you go for everything information, and then from there you can try searching on there.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the books, by the way, that I use for most of the quotes. There's a few other things we use. Amazing books. Check them all out. I recommend them all very greatly, especially Islands of 8 Million Smiles. Really amazing book if you want to study idol. They're all scholarly books. Some are harder to read than others, but they're all relatively accessible. So check them all out. This will all be on the website. We're going to move to the exhibit hall in a second for the Dem Pop autograph thingy. We're joining with Alita Dark. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Huh?
If you want to take
Oh.
pictures, we can do like dumb posts.
Yeah, you know,
or something.
the first few people who are there, I'll get you guys a checky, and you guys can they can sign them or something.
Yeah, I'll put birds on it.
So yeah, if you guys want to we're gonna head over there in a minute. So thank you all for coming. If you see these panels at other conventions, please come to them. They're all different. This is the first time we did this specific one. We're gonna modify it greatly. It's gonna be a completely different panel next time around. Check us out, adjconnections.com, all panels. Oh, AOD, we're gonna be there. Tiffany and I with some other people, we're gonna be in San Francisco.
AOD's awesome.
Yeah, and we're gonna be at Anime Matsuri as well in Texas.